Hello Tigers, for our next adventure here, it's called My Tiger Jungle, and again we revert back to your tiger book here. On mine it starts on page 44. So for this one you are required to do number 1 and at least 2 of the other 4. So I'm going to show you how to do almost all of them. There's one I'm not going to be able to do today, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. For number 1, with your parent, guardian, or other caring adult, go for a walk outside and pick out 2 or more sights or sounds of nature around you. Discuss with your partner or den. So I'm going to go grab my cameraman. We're going to head over here into the edge of the woods here, and we're going to see what we can see or hear for nature. So I'm standing over here at the edge of the woods here, and I'm not going to go too far in because there's a lot of stinging nettles and stuff like that, and my cameraman's wearing shorts. So we're just kind of going to take a minute to kind of listen, see what we can see what we can hear. So I can hear, I don't know if you guys will be able to hear that, but I can hear a bird over here. And he's been kind of hanging out with us all day today, and I'm not quite sure what kind of bird it is, so I'm going to go try to look that up later. But also farther off in the distance here, I can hear a crow way over there somewhere. Quite a few different kinds of birds, but I can't, I know what a crow sounds like, but I can't remember what this other little bird is. So as far as looking around me goes, I can see this big beautiful maple tree right here. Like I said, there's some stinging nettles. Another interesting one on a lot of these plants down here, there's a lot of holes in the leaves. So maybe I'll dig around in there later and see what I can see as far as what's eating the plants. Yeah, so you guys don't have to even go to a scout camp or a park or anything. You can go right out in your backyard and just see what you can hear, see what you can see. And we'll move on to our next requirement here. Alright, for our next requirement here, we're going to take a 1-foot hike is what it's called. So I have a piece of parachute cord here that I cut to be 4 feet long. You put that out into a square, and we have 1 square foot here. We're going to describe what we can see. You really get down and look, it's always interesting the kind of stuff you can see when you get way down in here. So I have my little magnifying glass here that's in with your program materials, and see what we can see here. So as far as vegetation goes, there's a lot of this white clover, all these little white flowers here, clover. If you spend a lot of time down in here looking, you might find a 4-leaf clover, but here's a 3-leaf. This is what the regular clover leaf looks like. 3 leaves. A lot of people like to spend time looking for a 4-leaf clover, and I've only ever found 1, but I also don't spend a ton of time looking for them. But get my magnifying glass out here. Let's see, what else do we have for vegetation. Everybody kind of knows what these are, and a lot of the part of the country, some of you guys in the drier regions of the United States might not have them, but this is a dandelion. You can always tell which ones are the dandelion leaves because they have this kind of saw pattern. So there's dandelion. What else do we have for vegetation? There's some different grass in here, and I don't know very much about different kinds of grass, but there's some grass. Right on the edge here, this leaf, I'll pick one of these and show you. This is called plantain. That's not the plantain that you're used to thinking of that are like the big starchy bananas. This is the plantain, the green plant, but this is what the leaf looks like. This is what the seed head looks like. And let's get really close here. I'm gonna take my glasses off and get my magnifying glass. And there's actually, you're not gonna be able to see it on camera probably, but there's a little spider web right down in the middle. You probably won't be able to see that, but I don't see its owner right now. The spider must not be home. He must be out hunting. There's some really tiny little clover leaves in here. That's really cute. Let's see if you can see that. Really, really tiny clover. Alright, you can see some, you're not going to be able to see them, but there's some kind of flying insects that are flying in and out here. I don't think there's any. See if I can see any bugs. I did see earlier when I first set this out, I did see a tiny little green aphid. They're super tiny little bugs, and that's actually what ladybugs eat. So, do your 1 foot hike. This will work anywhere in the country that you are. Just lay out a 1 square foot, 4 piece of rope, 4 corners, and get your magnifying glass out that everybody has now, and get down and see what you can see. I'd be interested to hear what you guys find. Alright, tigers, we're back into my office here, which is actually my porch. We just got done with the 1 foot hike, and I actually had a lot of fun doing that one. I don't know if they had that when I was a Tiger Scout or not, but if they did, I haven't done it since then. So it's actually really interesting to take a kind of a bird's eye view on a little piece of dirt like that and see what's all living in there. So later on today, I think I'm going to go out in the woods and maybe do a 3 square feet or something, maybe a little bigger, and actually sit and observe what's in there. So for requirement number 3, and again, we only need to do requirement number 1 and then 2 of the other 4. So we did number 1, number 2. Number 3 is to point out 2 different kinds of birds that live in your area. With your parent, guardian, or other caring adult, or your den, find out more about one of these birds. So I know I have scouts from all over the country, the lower 48 in the United States here, and you guys are going to have a lot of different kinds of birds. We're going to kind of put up a couple of pictures on this video here on the editing later on. I'm going to pick the vulture. We have a lot of vultures out here at our camp. There's a big vulture nest towards the south end of camp, and those are really interesting birds. They have the kind of no feathers on their head and a really wide wingspan, and they tend to scavenge. They'll eat some, clean up some animals that have passed that are in the woods. So those are really interesting. And then I'm going to pick the Iowa state bird as a goldfinch, and they're really cute. They're just, you know, a little finch, but they're all yellow or gold. And they eat a lot of the purple thistle that you see in the fields, that are plants that really spiky, and they have a really beautiful purple flower on them, and they'll hang out on those and eat the thistle seeds. So those are the two birds that I'm gonna choose. But there's lots of different kinds of, obviously lots of different kinds of birds all around the country. So I'd be interested to see what you guys pick. Number 4 is be helpful to nature by planting a plant, shrub, or tree. Learn more about the needs and growth of the item that you have planted. So that's a big one when you're going to go do this, is to make sure you pick a species that's native to your area. You can find that information usually with your local universities. In Iowa here we have the Iowa State University Extension Office, where you can actually talk to somebody that's an expert in local flora, local plants. So I would pick maybe a hickory tree. Maybe I like hickories a lot. We have quite a few of those at camp. Iowa has a really interesting tree. I don't know if I could find a sapling or not to purchase somewhere, but Iowa has an interesting fruit tree called a pawpaw. It's called like a custard banana, and it kind of almost shaped like a mango but smaller, and the inside's supposed to taste like a banana custard. Maybe I could find a couple of them to plant. But I was discussing before, you always want to make sure that you have a native species, though, because we have a lot of problems in a lot of parts of the country where somebody plants something as like a ornamental tree, just something that's pretty, or a bush that's pretty, but it's not native to the area, so they end up taking over. A lot of the south and east and the south have a problem with kudzu right now as a vine, and it's just taking over the wild areas and choking out all the native species. So always make sure we're going with native to your area species when we're going to plant something. Requirement number 5, and we're not going to do this one today either because I don't have the materials here, but number 5 is to build and hang a birdhouse. So I would pick a bird Different birds take different size houses and different size hole that you drill in the house. So I would plant one that's specific for a native bird. And in the marsh areas here, the wetlands here, we have a wood duck. I love wood ducks. They're really beautiful. I don't know if we can put a picture of a wood duck up, but wood ducks actually will make their nest in the hollow of a tree. And once the ducklings get a little bigger, they'll actually jump out of the tree, and they're not heavy enough to hurt themselves, so that's kind of their first out into the world. They'll jump out of the tree, and a lot of people will build and put up wood duck boxes. Gives them plenty of place to make their nest where they're going to be away from the predator. So that's probably what I would do. You can find plans for birdhouses online. I'm sure there's plenty of inexpensive birdhouse kits where everything's already cut out, and you just have to nail it together, and of course get a adult's help to nail that together. But be really interested to see if you guys do that and send your pictures into the email that we have, your parents have, that we sent out this program videos and stuff in. So that's going to wrap it up for My Tiger Jungle. Our last adventure that we're going to be doing today is Tiger in the Wild, and that one's a lot of fun. Gets a chance to get out in the woods. So we'll be back with Tiger in the Wild, and hope you guys had a lot of fun doing My Tiger Jungle. I know I had a lot of fun doing it with you.